Hey everybody, Nick here, and today I'd like to announce a little contest, sort of a crazy idea that I've had that I think I'm going to see if I can make happen that I hope will be nice for the community. So I've said on many occasions that I'm not super comfortable with the idea of a mega reviewer, of a single person who has a huge number of subscribers and who a lot of people look to as an expert in gear, when in reality they are just a random jackass. And I know it's a little weird for me to say that because I'm kind of that person at this point, but still, or at least one of many of them, but still, it's not something I love seeing, because what I think is a much healthier approach for the world is actually to have a number of people who a lot of people are looking for information from. People with a diversity of opinions, with a diversity of life experiences, who live in a bunch of different places. I mean, that's the kind of thing that I like to see, and that way we have many opinions, all of which are interesting and credible, rather than just a couple of loud jackasses out there who everybody's paying attention to. I think by doing that, the community is healthier, it's much easier to avoid things like corruption, etc., and it's a better approach to the gear world, and today I'm going to try and put my money where my mouth is, so to speak, and see if I can't make that happen. The idea behind this contest is basically I'm going to have people submit channels that are, fit certain characteristics I'll describe in a second here, and then I will have my viewers, as well as a select group of reasonably prominent reviewers, to go through and basically watch some of their stuff, and give some ratings according to a little rubric there, and fill out a little poll, and then based on the results of that, we will crown the latest and greatest next reviewer, the best upcoming reviewer. I don't have a good name for this damn contest. If you got one, put it in the comments down below there. But the simple fact is that at the end of that, the person or people, ideally, because I'd like to find a few who are really doing great work, will not only get a bunch of good publicity, but I'll also put together some fabulous prize packages for them to get them, give them plenty of stuff to work on. And I think that would be just a beautiful thing. And so that's what I'd like to announce today, and I'd like to talk for a second about some of the tentative rules. In order to be included in this, I want to try and target smaller channels, so I'd like to look for folks under 5,000 subscribers. That's kind of an arbitrary line in the sand, but any bigger than that, and I don't think you need a whole lot of help keeping going there. Next thing, I want it to be a review-focused channel, and specifically with an everyday carry gear focus, writ large. I mean, you could do pens, you could do watches, you could do pocket knives, you could do whatever you'd like, but as long as you're focused on kind of everyday tools, and you can do it for men, you can do it for women, I really don't care, but as long as you're doing tools that people carry and use in their everyday life, I'm totally interested, but I do want it to be a review channel. I'd rather it not be like, oh, well, this is my politics channel, and hey, look, I took a look at a pen. No, that's not what I'm kind of after here. I'm looking for review-focused folks. And to that end, I'd like to see on the channel at the time of the contest at least 5 videos that are reviews of something or another. Again, I don't care exactly what it is you're reviewing, but just that way we know that this isn't like your first video and you want us to extrapolate from there. That's not working. I want all the channels to be honest. What I mean by that is I want them to talk about the good and the bad sides of things. Whether that means that they, and they may have stuff where there's not that much bad to say about it, but I want them to be open to it. I don't want these to be showcase channels or channels that are just parroting the specs or something like that. I want these to be channels that are actually telling me, this is what's great here, this is what's not so great, this is where that kind of thing. And I want it to be, it doesn't have to be explicitly labeled, it doesn't have to use the same structure, although you're welcome to use the good, the great, the bad, the ugly, it ain't mine to start with. But I just don't want showcases. I don't want advertisements, any of that kind of thing. I do want to see channels with full disclosure of paid or donated items. I use my little sign right here to tell you that the manufacturer provided me something. They just need to have a way to say that as well. If that's the case for them, I need to make sure that they're being honest about that. They're not doing like the payola thing where it's like, oh, hey, I get 15 emails every day like, oh, if you want to review my, wireless freaking phone charger, I'll give you $200. Like, no, screw that. And finally, and maybe most controversially, but hey, it's my party, I can cry if I want to, I don't want any channels that specialize in, or frankly do, reviews of clones or counterfeit gear. Meaning, like, for instance, fake Rolexes, fake knives, or even unbranded clones of existing production gear. I have a whole knife gripe about why this is a bad idea. I'll link it down below, but the simple fact is that the clone industry is really hurting, certainly in the knife world, but also in the watch world as well. And I really just don't want to support a channel that is supporting those people who are really hurting the rest of the community and causing a whole bunch of counterfeiting and a whole bunch of ugly. So if you're doing clone or counterfeit reviews, you're not going to be eligible for the contest. Sorry about that. But those are kind of the rules here. You have to be under 5,000 subscribers. It needs to be a review-focused channel. channel, you need to have at least 5 videos that are going to be reviews. You need to talk about things honestly, so you're not just talking about the good. You need to talk about what's not quite so good too, so you're actually usefully reviewing. You need to do full disclosure of any paid or donated items, and you can't be reviewing any clones or counterfeit items. So on the Rubric side, what am I going to ask people about? Well, this is going to change. This is sort of the temporary, what I'm thinking now. But I want to ask questions, like, and I'll just have everything be like a 1 through 7 vote, like, from most to least. Is the channel, talk about the structure and the format. Is it easy to follow and understand? Do they have a structure? Do they seem prepared? Or are they just rambling like I am right now? Is there good timing? Do the videos drag on endlessly, like with nothing to say, like mine do? Or is it providing enough depth? Or on the other side, are they saying too little? So it's just like, wait, what was that video about? Is it there on the technical and editing side? Is the video clear enough to do the job? Is the audio intelligible, good enough to do the job? If there's editing, is it done well? Does it need more editing? Does it need less editing? All that kind of thing. Clarity, are they understandable? Are the points well made? That kind of thing. Not like, do you have an accent? That's a completely different thing, because if having an accent disqualified people, then yeah, I'd have a problem. I want to make sure that these are channels that are welcoming people in the community. So, trying to make the gear community feel welcome and together. So not, attacking specific groups or specific types of users. Like, oh, you goddamn Office Commandos, or even specific brands. Everything Rolex makes is trash. No, not necessarily. You need to at least give everybody a fair shake or something like that. I want to see some honesty and some fairness. I want to make sure they're covering the good and the bad. I want to make sure that criticisms are fair and constructive. Nothing just like, oh, well, I hate this brand because I hate the CEO's ugly face. None of that kind of stuff. And I want to make sure that people are upfront about their biases. That's hard to do, certainly. But if you're sitting there like, oh, my God, well, maybe it's like somebody like me. Like, well, this is the biggest knife any human could ever possibly need. At least just be upfront. Tell it what it is. And be clear about who you're aiming this at. Think about your target market. But maybe the most important thing is personality. Is the person who's doing this review interesting to listen to? Do they bring a unique perspective? Are they funny if that's kind of the way they're doing things? Are they unique in their views? Do they have a structure that works really well? I mean, could you tell this person's channel and this person's work from anybody else? And then ask the basic questions like, did you subscribe to the channel? If gear I was interested in was reviewed by this channel, would you watch it? Would you trust their comments? Should this person win? I mean, those are basic questions, but they're important ones. And so I'll give out that survey to everybody, as well as, to one for all the viewers and one for some reviewers. That way everyone can take a look and give their ratings, and then we'll calculate it out at a manner that I'll figure out down the road. And we will then ultimately have ourselves some winners and some runners-up. Now, okay, this is going to be a few weeks before I open it up for channels to submit themselves. Do not start sending me emails about this, because honestly, work is just kind of kicking my... And I also want to make sure that channels who are, thinking, oh, I'm thinking about doing this, let's give them a chance to start up, right? I mean, I want as many people as possible to be involved here. So this video is really more of a heads up that this is going to be happening. So I'll post another video when it's time to open this whole process up. And there I'll have very explicitly the rubric. I'll have very explicitly how to submit everything. And then after that happens, I'll give some time for voting, some time for submission, some time for voting. And then from there, we'll hopefully find some winners, and I'll announce a prize package and all that kind of thing. But for the moment, like I said, this is mostly a heads up that this is something that's on my radar, and it's also a request. If you've got any suggestions for things you'd like to see on that rubric, things that make a great channel great, things that make a bad channel bad, and ideally more productive than, oh, that Shabazz guy, make sure he's not involved. But either way, feel free to leave those things down below. Also suggestions for the rules, I'm totally open to. So, but anyways, this is something I got planned here, and if you got a catchy name, oh God, do I need it. I hope this is interesting, though. I hope that we're able to find some great new channels out there and ideally expand the diversity of the everyday carry world just a little bit more, and get some more opinions, get some more voices, and get some more random jackasses out there so that, a lot more people have a lot more folks to listen to, and the whole community just gets a little bigger and a little better as a result. So anyways, there you go. Any suggestions, leave them down there. Otherwise, just keep your eyes peeled, and I'll let you know when things are starting to open up. Have a good one, everybody. Bye now.